constantly surrounded by mass communication and have grown accustomed to believing everything we hear. But sometimes we forget to take a step back and truly evaluate the presented topic through our own eyes. Mass communication is classified as any means used to relay information to the general public or a specific group of people. It is embedded in our lives so deeply that we sometimes forget it's there. The goal of this huge collection of information is to educate the listeners toward a decision or outcome. Mass communication provides us with a window to knowledge that would otherwise be unachievable. But is it all true? In short, the main idea behind mass communication is to provide information. Newspapers provide current events, advertisements and magazines show us new products, and radio programs entertain us. But are these platforms conveying a hidden message that could affect the decisions we make? Communication is a very popular job field to enter, but since the platforms used to provide accurate communication constantly change, this can be a hard subject to study and teach. Some colleges and universities have difficulty when creating degree programs that prepare students with the current skills needed. College professors need to focus more on the practical application rather than the theory of communication. In addition, students are drawn to communication studies because it is a direct connection to other people. Individuals who excel in problem solving, observation, research, people skills, and critical thinking would be an excellent candidate for a job in communication. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the average salary of a communication professional is slightly over $47,000 a year. This is taking into consideration announcers, editors, photographers, technical writers, and reporters. Modern mass communication is confusing at times and often carries a heavy bias towards the information being provided. News stations only report stories that align with the station's political, religious, or racial beliefs. They may boast total coverage and in reality be providing the most up-to-date information, but are they sharing the whole story? Ironically, we sit in front of our massive flat-screen TVs and eagerly watch the newsreels. Some gather their current information from the newspaper or internet resources. But ultimately, who decides what stories make it to the front page or get printed, or make it to the front page or get reported? Understanding the effects of mass communication is a skill that not many modern Americans possess. Believe it or not everything you hear or see in the news is true. Granted, most of the information provided is in fact credible and true, but there must be a level of questioning before fully embracing a new idea or movement. In his essay, Mass Communication Research, An Old Road Resurveyed, Joseph Clapper explains the problem more directly when stating, "News and information programs are today much in the public eye and ear." Clapper goes on to say, "We know that many people use these programs to acquire information, and we know that some people use them in order to feel informed, regardless of whether the feeling is justified." Though some believe Clapper's ideas are outdated because his essay was published in 1963, I strongly feel that they are still relevant to today's society. Clapper is simply noting that we must not only rely on one provider for information. We must cross-examine the facts, and otherwise we can be easily swayed. His main point is very basic, that we absorb the news because we enjoy the feeling of knowing things, even if they are not entirely true. In a response to Clapper's essay titled, "How Quickly We Forget," the distribution of persuasion effects from mass communication, Seth Hill believes that communication effects may not be, and perhaps often are, held in place by long-term flow of communication. According to Hill, we are affected by mass communication not because of the individual event, but rather the constant flow of information that has an ongoing effect on our thoughts. Another outlet for mass communication in the digital age is the internet. Since we are all connected to the massive database of information, it only makes sense to utilize its powers. But information gathered from the internet must be looked at even closer than information acquired from a newspaper or TV broadcast. There are many benefits to mass communication, and with modern technology, we have unlimited access to the current information. In his essay, Functional Analysis and Mass Communication, author Charles Wright wants us to consider what it means to have a constant flow of news data available to us. A flow of information often provides speedy warnings about imminent threats and dangers from the outside society, Wright states. This clearly describes one of the main benefits to mass communication. It joins and notifies people when timing is a determining factor in an event's outcome. Mass communication is essential to our modern way of life. It provides many benefits and gives us knowledge that we would otherwise be hard to find. However, we must be careful when selecting resources for current news and cross-referencing information gathered from mass communication before we make drastic actions forged from this information.